All right, this is a reaction to a video of a man who is saying, basically chastising an OnlyFans girl. And I want to say before I play this sound clip, I am 1000% in disagreement with everything he has to say. I
Feel
hope.
comfortable if your father was watching your OnlyFans and subscribing to it?
Probably not, no.
You would not feel comfortable, and I'll tell you why. That's because in your heart of hearts, in your soul, if you still got one, you know it.
Notice how he, notice how he's already like going very, very personal right out the gate, implying she has no soul just because she does OnlyFans. Again, wait for my counter response after this because I have so much to say against everything he has to say.
It's wrong. And I'll give you an example. That's your work. In my work, if my mother consumed my work, I'd be thankful and pleased that she took an interest in my work and supported my work. If she bought my products, I'd be thankful. If your mother or father bought your products, you'd be disgusted and ashamed because you know what you're doing is wrong and the product of what you're doing is bad. Would
Okay.
you feel comfortable if your father was watching?
Okay. First of all, let's just get this right out the way. Not there's so many professions beyond OnlyFans that you would not be comfortable with your parents or your family or your kids seeing or partaking in, just on a basic level. Like the examples that I had in my mind were like there's so many filmmakers that make some ridiculously grotesque, sick, gory shit out there. Like there's some real hardcore horror fans that have a horror filmmakers that I guarantee you they would not be proud to play that for their grandma or for their little kids or whatever. Like that's a very basic example. Okay, I got more examples, but let me just start with that. MMA. I personally, I'm not a person who likes violence, very graphic violence. I do not like it. However, that's another profession I'm bringing up just as an example is because yo MMA, especially the hardcore shit, like that is not for like if you were an MMA fighter that beat the shit out of people for a living, maybe you're one of the top guys or maybe you're a scrappy guy in the lower leagues, doesn't matter. But you beat the shit out of people for a living. It's not like boxing, okay, where it's like, somewhat like for lack of a better word, like civilized or just like watered down in terms of the violence. But people get their fucking limbs broken, fucking like like yo, MMA is not for the faint of heart. So again, as an MMA fighter, I could argue as myself, my own taste in the world that an MMA fighter would not be proud or be quick to share their work with their old grandma or their grandfather or their mother or father, depending on how conservative their mother and parents be. I mean, let me just say, it's not like MMA has been mainstream for the last 50, 40, 30 years. MMA really just came in the new millennium. So prior to that, and even when it came, it's taken a while for it to become well accepted in the mainstream. So again, let me just stop there. My point is, the argument this man is making is purely from his own perspective. Granted, his perspective is probably reflective of much of the pop culture today, the society, based on the fact that we have certain norms that the society has had since forever. But bottom line is, his opinion is not the exclusive opinion. There are many people out there who would argue about many other professions other than OnlyFans are worse than OnlyFans. Like, what the fuck is she doing? She's not hurting nobody. She's not putting nobody in hospitals or in jail. She's not causing nobody to lose their life or limb. She's not like, secondly, okay, and then that's the next thing. I should probably stop, but then again, I could just cop this up when I'm done, because now I'm getting fired up. Secondly, I think he alludes to the fact that hold on, let me pause this side. Right. So he says if she would be proud if her family or her father watched her, was subscribing to her OnlyFans and saw what she does. First of all, my son, my people, my everyday people, I hear this kind of bullshit all the time. I want to tell you something. First of all, the implication there is that OnlyFans and what she does on OnlyFans as her job is for public consumption. That is what whether he's consciously doing it or not. That is the premise by which he's making that statement, unconsciously, without taking the time to critically think about what he's saying. The OnlyFans content that she creates, and all the OnlyFans girls, is not for public consumption. It is not for her father or her mother or her. It is actually for private consumption. It gets this rap like people want to lump it as like it's a public. It's not a public thing. OnlyFans or camming, much like many other professions, is a private service or a product that is created for private consumption by private individuals who physically or whatever personally seek out that, and it's for them. It is not for a general audience, much like a R-rated movie is not for a general audience, and kids are not allowed to go into an R-rated movie or an X-rated movie or whatever it is. Like, there's so many professions. Like, kids can't just walk into a bar and say, I'm gonna buy drinks, and no bartender would be proud to sit and serve drinks to a kid. But that doesn't make them morally bankrupt or their job or what they do morally wrong. Like, this argument is not a valid argument. The fact that he says, she wouldn't be proud. Again, it's not for public consumption. Yeah, she wouldn't want her dad to see that shit, but it's not for him in the context of a father, any more than she'd want to see her parents, doing sexual stuff in real life. Like, no kid wants to see think of their parents doing sexual stuff, but newsflash, they do fucking sex. That's how we got here, because your parents have fucking sex. So it's a stupid argument. Secondly, like I said, it's not for public consumption. So based on that, if by chance her dad did stumble across, because let's face it, everybody and their mama everybody is watching some sort of porn or some sort of sexual content online at some point in their life. I tell you, well, I can't guarantee it. I don't know every human being in the world, but what I'm trying to say is, though, most people are dabbling in some kind of sexual content at some point, whether it's an ongoing habit or just a one-time weakness in a day, a random day in your life, but everyone's doing it. So if her dad stumbles across her OnlyFans page and sees her doing OnlyFans shit, first of all, the problem is, why the fuck is he watching in the first place? Like her. Because it's not like you stumble into an account. Like, yeah, you'll stumble across maybe like the face before you go into the account and you can see that it's your daughter. But upon that, why are you going in? And if you go in, what are you expecting to see? Other than what that you are on OnlyFans for, because he if he's on OnlyFans, that means he's a what's the word I'm looking for? Consumer of the product. He is a part of the problem, so he has no right to complain when his daughter takes part in the commerce of it and getting the benefits from it. That's all I'm trying to say. If you as a man are going on OnlyFans and enjoying the pleasures of using it in any way, shape, or form, then in no way, shape, or form should you have the gall or the right or the balls to be cursing your daughter or judging your daughter or whoever it is for being on there. Just think about that for a second. Think about it for a second critically. Because nobody wants to think about their mother, their sister, their daughter, or any female in their, personal circle, family, friends, being on OnlyFans or a cam girl or hell, even porn, whatever. No one wants to think about it. No one wants to say they would condone that. Yet, from a male perspective, I bet you easily over 50% of men who are out there who would never be proud of that or would look down on their female relatives for doing it. I bet you at least 50% of them in their own private life enjoy and willingly, intentionally, habitually partake in and enjoy the fruits of online porn, cam girls, OnlyFans, IG mod, whatever you want to call it, all from the grandest scale of porn all the way down to the simplest scale, of little IG models with little pics. If you already objectify women and enjoy that in your private life, and you come across the fact that someone in your personal life, a female in your personal life, is doing it, you have no right to judge them. Because you know why? The only reason why your female relative and every other female out there that is doing it does it is because you and I, as men, make it possible. We are the ones that are feeding the machine. We are giving them the money, the attention, the time, the fame, the notoriety, everything. So if you want it to stop and you don't want your relatives to do it and you don't want to, then just stop doing it. Stop feeding the machine. Stop making it profitable for them for the world to create OnlyFans content. It's as simple as that. Until we as a gender, men, are willing to completely, dead it, not really, incentivize it, it just doesn't make sense. It's not logical to expect. No, every man wants to have the luxury of being able to pick up their phone and dial a porn at their own leisure, on demand. But never stopping to think, okay, well, in order for me to have this, there has to be some women out in the world that are willing to do this. So it behooves me as someone who is a customer of the product and I like the product and I want the product to continue, then I would say it behooves me to not make it difficult on them to produce the product, to not chastise the very people who are trying to create the product and give it to not curse them in public and look down on them and spit on them and call them all this and all that. And then turn around like it just doesn't make sense. I didn't mean to go into that tangent when I started this. But my name is Henry Lyon. And that was for the fucking girls.